Welcome back, everyone, to Sip and Spill. This is our weekly show where we invite you all to sip on a drink with us and chat a little bit about all things life, love, pop culture, all that good stuff that's going on in our lives. Speaking of, we just came off the heels of Thanksgiving. We hope everyone had a wonderful Thanksgiving holiday. Nikki, how was your Thanksgiving?
It was good. Lots of food, family. I took a fat nap after dinner, so that was amazing.
Awesome.
Yeah. How was yours?
It was good. It was good. We, same thing, lots of food, time with family spent, which is always nice. Some cocktail sipping of our own at Thanksgiving. But yeah, overall, A1 holiday. Can't complain.
Yeah. So Anna and I are related on our dad's side of the family. Mm-hmm. So most of our holidays are spent with our mom's side. So Thanksgiving was spent with my mom's side. She is one of 5 girls. So there's lots of cousins, grandkids, and all that fun stuff. So,
yeah, big old Italian family for Thanksgiving, which is nice. I was with my mom's brother, so that side of the family, and his wife and some of her relatives. So a little bit of a smaller group, but still good to sit around the table, catch up, and again, just enjoy some really good dishes.
Yeah.
Yeah, great time.
So we do have some holidays together. Christmas Day, New Year's Day,
yep,
Father's Day,
yep.
I think
that covers it.
That covers it. Yeah.
But always a good time together for all of our favorite holidays. We've been talking about food a lot so far. Nikki, what was your favorite dish of the Thanksgiving evening?
My favorite is stuffing, which there appears to be a little controversy with the stuffing that my family makes, which is stovetop. Came out in the news today that there are some cancerous ingredients in stovetop.
Really?
So it's banned in European countries.
Really? I'm not
surprised. I'm really not surprised. But
yeah.
And it's so easy. I feel like it's got to be so easy to make.
I think it is. I think it's just bread at the end of the day.
Right. So I think the thing as Americans, we just don't have time. It's getting darker earlier. We're working 9 to 5. By the time you get home, it's just the quick and easy thing to do.
Yeah.
Is to just make the stovetop.
Yeah, I agree. Europeans are very lax. They're just kind of cruising through life over there.
They have a lot of time.
They take month-long vacations. They take 3-hour breaks during the day for lunch. And, it's just such a totally different world over there that they can sit at home before a holiday and do things like make a fresh stuffing or pasta or really any kind of dish that we just kind of breeze through over here. They make it like it's nothing. So I agree with you. It's not totally surprising, but a little disappointing because, who doesn't love a good stovetop stuffing?
Right. I used to work at a restaurant and little secret, I'm not going to name the restaurant, but they used to take the bread that was going out to all of the tables and use that unused bread that everybody was coughing and sneezing and touching and make stuffing out of it. So, yeah.
Ugh.
Yeah, and my disgusting ass ate that shit.
Oh, God.
Knowing.
Listen, I'm sure that's not the only restaurant that does it.
Right.
I'm sure we've all eaten a lot of questionable things out to eat that we don't even think twice about it. And not to be that person, but they are baking the stuffing in the oven. So maybe that helps kill the germs. That's me being an optimist.
We like to believe.
We like to believe that
I'm still here.
Helps. We're still kicking. So we're okay.
Yes.
The stovetop may kill us someday, but not the restaurant stuffing.
So, Anna, what was your favorite side dish?
My favorite side dish is always a good mac and cheese. And I am not talking about your basic Kraft blue box mac and cheese.
No.
Like, it has to be fresh noodles, grated cheese, maybe a nice 4 or 5 cheese blend.
Yes.
A nice breadcrumb topping on top, baked in the oven, comes out warm and fresh, and cheese is all melted. Oh my God, that is the best. That is my number one side dish for Thanksgiving and really any holiday. Even if it's a Tuesday, we love a good baked mac and cheese dish.
Hell yeah.
So, but I'm partial to all sides. I love a good mashed potato, maybe some stuffed mushrooms. All sides are winners in my book.
Yeah.
What's not always a winner is the turkey, but we eat the turkey regardless.
Yes, you have to.
You have to. You got to have the
Just a
slice or
little
two
bit.
on your plate.
Yeah.
And everything else just makes it better.
So next year, I think I'm going to make the stuffing. I will take one for the team.
Yeah.
I will make the stuffing instead of just showing up and taking fat naps on people's couches.
I love that idea. I mean,
Gonna contribute next year.
Yeah. Again, we're getting older. We're going to start having probably holidays of our own at some point in life. And so start now. Start learning how to make these things so that when the time comes, you know how to do it. I've recently started making fresh rainbow cookies for the holidays. So I started them last year for Christmas Eve. I made them. They turned out pretty good. But then, I knew this year I wanted to improve the recipe a little bit. So tried it again for Thanksgiving. They definitely came out, better, like more so shape-wise and flavor-wise.
Okay.
Flavor-wise, they were good. Needed a little bit more jam. But, we take these notes and we apply them to the next round. So Christmas Eve, we'll be back with our fresh rainbows. And I will add a little bit more jam
some
next
for
time.
me Christmas Day, please, because I made them once years and years ago because it is my dad's favorite, and I made it for his birthday. He never saw them again. Like it just took me so long.
It
You
is
have
a
to
long-
do layer by layer. But yeah, so save us some.
I will. Absolutely. Absolutely. Good. Well, again, hope everyone had a wonderful Thanksgiving with their families and enjoyed some good food too. What also looks good is what we have here on the table right now, and that is our cocktail of the week. So, Nikki, why don't you tell us what we're drinking this week?
Yes, so this week we have our Pumptini. So our episode is called Pumptinis and Plot Twists. So we are talking about our favorite show, which is on Bravo, called Vanderpump Rules. So you can get this for a quarter of the price, or if you want to pay full price, that is $30 in Vegas. So what it is 3 raspberries. You want to muddle them, 2 ounces of vodka, your choice, 3/4 ounce of orange liqueur, grapefruit juice, lime juice, and simple syrup. You're going to shake that up and pour it into a beautiful martini glass.
Delicious. It looks so good. Let's cheers to that.
Cheers.
Yay.
And I forgot to ask you, what are you thankful for this year?
Oh, well, I'm thankful for this cocktail you made us, first of all. It's very good. I love a sweet cocktail.
For a bargain.
For a bargain, especially. Otherwise, I'm thankful for a lot in life. I'm thankful for you. I'm thankful for my family and friends. John, of course. I'm thankful I have a roof over my head, and I'm thankful that I have a nice bed to sleep in, especially on Thanksgiving morning, my favorite holiday to sleep in on.
Yeah.
What are you thankful for, Nikki?
And I have to say, I'm thankful that I did not have to run a 5K on Thanksgiving Day.
I would agree with you there.
So I was in a relationship for the past 2 Thanksgivings, and their family tradition, which I'm not knocking, was to wake up and do a turkey trot.
Oh no.
I mean, it could be fun, but this family took it very seriously.
Yeah.
And I just, not for me.
I will say, Nikki and I decided this year that we did want to do a turkey trot, but we made the, in my opinion, very smart decision to do it a couple weeks ago. So if you were with us on episode 2, we had just come from our Asbury turkey trot. And again, I think it was a great idea because we got it out of the way. And again, we got to enjoy Thanksgiving, relax, sleep in, not rush through the day trying to complete this marathon and then get ready for the holiday and all that comes with that. So again, no shade to anyone who does do a turkey trot as a family on Thanksgiving morning, but I don't think that's a tradition I'll ever adopt with my family.
Right. I don't think our family has any actual traditions. My family does not have any traditions.
Yeah. No, mine doesn't really either, especially not for Thanksgiving. It's kind of we'll end up where we end up on the holiday. Sometimes we have dinner at home. Sometimes we go out to eat. Sometimes we'll go to a relative's to eat. But we don't really have any specific traditions of games to play or activities to do together or movies to watch. So But no, even in our family, we really don't have too many traditions on that side either.
I had another ex that for Christmas we had to decorate sugar cookies. And I just feel like when you get to a certain age, we can let those traditions die.
Yeah, definitely.
We don't need to, we're pushing 30. We certainly do not need to do this anymore.
No, I agree. I think when you, like you said, when you reach a certain age, it's time to kind of grow up, recognize that your kids are grown up.
Right.
And maybe they have their own lives and things that they want to do for the holiday. That doesn't involve decorating cookies or.
And we had to like pick them up and take pictures. And they're still on Facebook today, the mother's Facebook. So I just feel like when the grandkids come, that's a good tradition. You know, we restart that up, but it gave me the ick a little bit.
Yeah. No, I would definitely get
the ick.
I would get the ick as well from that.
So yeah. But on a serious note, I am thankful for my home, my Dolly, who was crazy today. Excuse her barking. She is insane. Family, friends, you, Anna, for pushing me always outside of my comfort zone. There's a lot of things that I didn't think that I would be able to do this year, but you showed me that I can do it. So, yeah. Lots of things to be thankful for. And my nephew. I'm thankful for my nephew. My little turkey is 10 months. Can't believe it. Time is flying. I love him so much. So lots to be thankful for.
We are all thankful for him.
Yeah.
Let's cheers to that.
Cheers, Anna. Okay.
Look.
So Anna had a fun game planned for us in the theme of Vanderpump Rules. Anna, why don't you explain this game?
Yeah. So if you've ever watched Vanderpump Rules before, to go over the basics, it follows a group of waitstaff at a restaurant in Hollywood owned by Lisa Vanderpump, renowned restaurateur. But this show specifically follows her staff at her restaurant Sir in West Hollywood. All of these folks are trying to become actors, actresses, singers, whatever. It's been on for a very long time. Nikki, you've actually been watching the show longer than I have, and you got me into it. You told me for years, watch it. And I finally did once Scandival broke out a few years ago, and I had to get all the tea and the drama.
Especially, I think, because I was in the industry, and I'm still in the industry. I started as a bus girl.
Yeah.
And worked my way up. I was a bus girl. I was a host, waitress, and now bartender. And I have to say bartending is my absolute favorite. But yeah, when you're in that like setting, and it is true, like everybody wants to fuck everybody.
Yeah.
I think because you're like with each other every single day.
Yeah.
It's just like there's a lot of hookups and things happening behind the scenes that you may not know. The restaurant that I work at now, they're all way younger than me. So I get to like sit back and watch all this unfold and live through them. But yeah, it's very funny. This is just the industry.
Yeah, no, 100%. I mean, again, you're spending so much time with these people throughout the week that there are going to be those comminglings, if you will.
Yeah.
So there certainly was a lot of that on Vanderpump Rules over the last decade plus. And so we had the fun idea that we will go through some of the show's most notable relationships that took place. And this game is called Worth a Shot. So if we think that the relationship was worth a shot, where it had the potential to be something really great, but as with a lot of relationships, sometimes things just don't work out. People go their separate ways. Then, all right, we'll deem that it was worth a shot in that sense. But if this was just a horrible relationship, if this was something that should never have come to be, but was purely for our entertainment only, we are going to take a shot, or a sip rather, of our Pumptini. So if you're watching from home, feel free to take a shot with us of, your favorite vodka, tequila, whatever it is. Make our Pumptini here. Take a sip of that with us, whatever you like. So let's get into some of the relationships, and we'll start with really the first one we were ever introduced to on the show, and that is Jax and Stassi. So Jax and Stassi, season 1, they were kind of the leader of their friend group at the time. They said it themselves on the show. Kind of your classic, like, both beautiful people together. And it was also your classic instance of the woman really babying the man until he decided to grow up. And
that has been me in every goddamn relationship that I've been in.
Yeah, it's a lot of women in relationships.
No matter what the age is, they
Right.
could be older than you, many years older than you. It's just men.
Yeah, it's just men. And we could sit here for hours and argue if Jax ever really did grow up or not. But season 1, we definitely saw a Jax like no other. This guy was recently out of a job, but his girlfriend Stassi managed to get him a job at Sir as a bartender. I don't even know if he had legitimate bartending experience. She just somehow weaseled her way into getting him. It was the looks,
Purely,
for sure.
He's a beautiful human being.
Yeah, for sure. So, before that, he was kind of like bumming it at her place, not really contributing anything because, again, didn't have a job. And like Stassi really put a lot of work into trying to get this guy back on his feet because she saw a future with him and, she wanted it to work out. But it was definitely one of those relationships filled with drama. There was cheating allegations. I think there actually was some cheating in that. There were fights. There was an instance where Jax is at a party for Stassi, and I think they were broken up at this point, but he was getting in a fight with her date and runs into the parking lot, rips off his shirt, and starts strolling around shirtless, trying to beat this guy up.
Embarrassing.
It was embarrassing. It was really craziness. It didn't go past season 1, but it was probably a relationship that really set the foundation for the show and what the show was and would be in the years to come. My take on this was that it was worth a shot of our Pumptini here because it was just so ridiculous and so drama-filled. Nikki, what's your take on Jax and Stassi?
I have to agree, Anna. I feel like... So my first boyfriend was when I was 18, and he had no drive, no motivation to do anything. His parents were giving him money to pay for our dates. And I'm just like, and you know what? Like, I've been working since I'm like 16. So I just didn't think that that was a reasonable thing to do. So I helped him. I helped him with his resume. I mean, he was just a bum. And I helped him get his first job. And my mom was telling me, like, you're going to help him do all these things and he's going to be the perfect man for someone else because by the time you're helping him with all of these things, he's going to already move on and meet somebody. You're going to be so done with him and disgusted. And that's what happened. He wound up cheating on me. Well, we were on a break. So, but he wound up messing around with this girl that he got his first job with at this store. But yeah, I mean, no, don't put this much time and effort into people. So she had a good head on her shoulders, Stassi, and I feel I saw myself in her. So it is worth a shot of our Pumptini.
Worth the Pumptini. Let's cheers to that.
Yes. We do not need to take care of these baby men anymore.
Absolutely not. We are grown. We are too grown for that.
Yes.
And Stassi was too grown for that at the time too. But we don't blame you, girl. All right. Next up, probably another, really big couple on the show was Tom Schwartz and Katie Maloney.
Katie is just a lump on a log.
I agree.
She is no fun.
No.
I don't know how they lasted as long or even made it to the wedding.
I think it's a classic case of codependency. Ugh. You really do attach yourself to someone when you're in a relationship for as long as they were. And I think you get to a point where you really feel like you can make it work and you'll do everything you can to make it work. And even if that means, again, same kind of similar as Jax and Stassi, there were cheating allegations with Tom Schwartz. There were fights. What about the time he threw a drink on her in front of
that was my favorite.
Club?
I loved that. I had to rewind it to rewatch it again. She sucks as a human being.
I agree with you, but I don't necessarily think he's any better. I think
he was immature.
He was immature, and he's very he never took the blame for anything that was wrong in their relationship. Not saying it was all him to blame. She had some things that, were to blame as well. But I do think he was very much a, I'm not taking accountability for my actions type of guy.
Yes, he was dismissive anytime she tried to bring up like, hey, like, I'm not happy with this.
Right.
And, that's not good either.
Right. There was a lot of poor communication in that relationship. But we did see it grow a lot. We saw that they eventually ended up getting engaged. They got married. They got married again in Vegas because Tom didn't file the marriage license correctly the first time.
Yes.
So,
and that's where like I do agree that it's like grow the fuck up.
Yeah.
Get your shit together and just be the man and take charge and do shit the right way.
Right. This girl put a lot of work into this wedding, a lot of time, a lot of planning. She gave you one job.
Yes.
Not only to show up at the wedding, of course, but to file the marriage license, make sure everything was done and you guys were good to go. And you couldn't even do that.
That would have been a sign for me. I would have been like, you know what? This ain't it.
Yeah.
That would have been like, okay.
Nothing to lose.
Yeah.
There's nothing to lose at that point. Yeah, right. You spent money on a wedding.
Right.
And you bought a house and all these things. Sure. But at that point, if it's not legit, go your separate ways. Go your separate ways. I agree with you. I think really she should have called it off right there. But they did decide to go to Vegas, make it official, actually file the marriage license this time. And within a couple years of that, separated, divorced, over. But I do think that Katie reached a good point in life where she finally was standing up for herself. She was getting what she wanted out of life. She seems like she's enjoying life now. She's on a podcast herself. She's probably got tons of brand deals coming for her. And, I think she found herself in a good place and is on her way to healing. So this might be a little controversial, but I do feel like the relationship here was worth it in the end. I think it had the potential, yes, to be something great. And I think for a little bit it was really something great. Again, we saw a lot of growth from these two. But I think that ultimately Katie probably did have to go through a lot of this to get to the point in life where she is at. Again, to me, she just seems like she's happier. She's living more carefree. She's just doing all of these things that maybe she's been wanting to do for a long time and never did because she was in a relationship. So I'm going to say that it was worth a shot in the good sense.
I will take a shot of my Pumptini on this. Okay. All right.
Let's do a couple more. We've got, maybe we'll probably talk about these kind of hand in hand because we've got Tom Sandoval. Mm-hmm. We could spend hours talking about Tom Sandoval. Tom Sandoval had two very notable relationships throughout the show. The first being with Kristen Doty, who was a long-term girlfriend that he had been dating prior to the show's start. And then Ariana Madix, a much longer term girlfriend of almost 10 years, who, if you should know this, if you don't know this, you live under a rock. He cheated on, had an affair with about 2 years ago with a good friend of Ariana's. And that's kind of, again, the show blew up in a whole new sense. Well, let's start with Tom and Kristen because, again, they were kind of the OGs. Again, this was really like another tumultuous, crazy relationship. They lived together. And again, it was that kind of anticipation that the two of them would one day get married and start their own family and their own lives. But there was definitely I shouldn't say some, there was kind of a lot of cheating going on between the two of them. Lest we not forget that Kristen was accused of cheating on Tom with Jax, Stassi's boyfriend.
Well, Stassi was sleeping it was her own bed, right? In their apartment.
So. Yeah.
And no. I do not like Kristen. And you fast forward to this whole scandal, and it's just like, Kristen was doing the same thing years ago, but you want to say like, oh no, we're more mature now. We would never do that.
Right.
Rachel, whatever you want to call her. How old is she? I mean, these
now
people
she's
were
like 31, 32.
Okay. And back then these people were, I guess,
They were in their, Kristen and Tom were in their 30s when the show first started. Raquel, when she came onto the show, was still in her mid-20s. She was very young.
So, yeah, I just don't think that it was fair to put so much hate towards Raquel when Kristen did the same thing while her best friend was they were under the same roof.
Right.
Disgusting.
I agree with you. I think you definitely have a point there. Again, there was just so much infidelity going on in this relationship. You know, even Tom and Ariana's relationship started from cheating. Essentially, they hooked up while Tom was away, and Ariana happened to be away at the same. I think they were both in Vegas.
Vegas, yes,
it always happens in Vegas. Kristen was home minding her own business, and she doesn't even know that her boyfriend's out making out with this girl in the pool at the Golden Nugget.
Yeah. So, and it did not stay in Vegas.
Exactly. So, you know, there was cheating on both sides for sure. But I do agree with you that, you know, the Kristen got 10 times more hate probably than, well, I don't know if I would say she got 10 times more hate than Raquel. I think Raquel has gotten a lot of hate over the last couple years as well. But I do think there's a little bit of hypocrisy.
Yes.
When you look at both situations.
And then Tom and Ariana's relationship, I did not see any chemistry between those two. I think she herself was very not happy with Tom. And again, another stick in the mud.
Yeah.
Tom was very immature. I think you have to come to those terms early on, whether you mesh well or not. And rather than forcing yourself, it seems like she tried to play like the mom role in telling him what he can do and what he can't do, who he can hang out with, when he can hang out with them.
Yeah. I agree. I think I think especially in the last few seasons, we really saw a shift in their relationship dynamic. They didn't seem to be getting along well. Yes, they moved into this big, beautiful house, but it just didn't feel like they were really going anywhere further than where they were at. And she said, you know, she wasn't interested in marriage. She wasn't interested in kids, all of that.
Yes. And he wanted. And that's something, you have to wake up. Like if somebody told me they didn't want to have kids, that's something that I dream of every day. Absolutely not. So get real with yourself and instead of wasting each other's time.
Yeah.
And she actually said something really horrible in an argument that was seen on the show. And this was before all of this. But she said she hopes that he dies in an argument. And this was before the scandal. So
I'll have to go back and watch that. I don't know if I remember that.
If I remember correctly, it was before the scandal. She said it under her breath. And she was like, he said something like, what do you want? And she said, for you to die.
Oh, wait, I do remember that. But that was during the scandal. That was when scandal broke out.
Okay.
And this was probably one of the last scenes before we went to the reunion where it had just come out that the affair was happening. And
so then maybe I'm mistaken, but I do remember she did say some terrible things to him throughout the show that were a little shocking.
Yes, she definitely had words for him at various points.
I wouldn't wish anyone death, but
no.
Whatever.
So, well, I think, again, we'll probably group these two together, Tom and Kristen and Tom and Ariana. I'm going to take 2 sips as well because just no.
I don't think any of these people had chemistry.
No, I don't think so either. All right, why don't maybe we do one of the last few relationships that was pretty recent, and that was Jax and Brittany. I think when Brittany came onto the show, you know, we all remember pretty well that she was the
Southern Belle.
Really cute. Very cute. She seemed like a sweetheart. Definitely didn't seem like the type that Jax would normally be with because she seemed like she had a really, again, good head on her shoulders and very sweet, very like loving and whatnot. And we all know how Jax can be. He's just like a black cloud that people get sucked into sometimes. But Brittany came onto the scene, same thing. You know, Jax tried to get her a job at SUR. They kind of moved very quickly, where she was visiting him in LA weekend after weekend. And before we knew it, they were together. We, again, saw a lot of growth from these two as well. We saw them get engaged. We saw them get married. We saw them have a kid during COVID. And most recently, we've seen them get divorced. And I think this is a similar situation to Tom and Katie, in my opinion, where the man just really can suck the life out of a woman.
Yeah. You've seen it from when she was introduced onto the show. She just was a ray of sunshine. And time again, as she was seen, I get chills because like I could relate to this so much. Not even in like love relationships, but like work relationships. If you have a supervisor that's beating you down, this is just, you see it. And it's happened to me where people notice that like my ray, the aura, everything was just black. Yeah. So yeah, he I think he beat her down time and time again, and she lost the sparkle.
For sure. I agree. I think, she dropped a lot to be with him. Again, she left her family in Kentucky to move to LA to be with Jax. She, again, switched jobs. She like uprooted her whole life to be with this guy. And I don't think he ever really showed any appreciation for it. I at least we didn't see it on the show. It just always seemed like he was taking advantage of her kindness, of her love for him. And we're beating a dead horse here, but the cheating, he cheated on Brittany as well.
Yep. And he paid for her to get new tits. Yeah. And cheats on her.
Yeah. Yeah. It's wild.
If anybody like told me that I needed to get my boobs done and they would pay for them, no.
Just to
find
cheat?
somebody else.
Yeah.
Find somebody else.
Yeah.
If I don't look the way that you want me to look, right, that's on you.
He was always commenting on her looks, always commenting on her weight, how much she was going to the gym or not going to the gym.
Disgusting.
Even in the Valley, when we're watching these, the Valley new show where Jax and Brittany are living the life of parents with their friends and in the Valley, he's commenting every minute that she has a drink because he doesn't like the way she acts when she's drunk, or, he doesn't like that she gets very sick the next day when she's drunk. Newsflash, bro.
It was anxiety.
Yes, 100%. And even if it wasn't, she doesn't have to answer to you.
That was all I seen it. It was all anxiety.
Yeah.
You can just see her getting anxious. It had nothing to do with the alcohol.
Yeah.
He just made it worse time and time again.
No, 100%.
Instead of like comforting her while she's at that low point in her life, he just scolded her.
Yep. No, I definitely think he just kind of sucked the whole life out of her, and I think she's better off without him for sure. Obviously, they have a kid now. It gets a little messy when you have a kid in the mix, but I do feel that she's kind of also on her own journey of growth and healing. She seems like she's out a lot now with friends, going to events, getting brand deals. And he just seems like he's getting a new tattoo every other day. And like, I don't know. It seems like he's got a lot to work on personally, which we've known for years. But I think maybe now he's getting the help that he needs. Who knows? We'll see what happens on the next season of The Valley. I'm sure we're going to get a lot more detail and intel into what their life has been like.
I hope she gets her spark back.
I do too.
I think that's really important, that, you rise above and work on yourself, do some inner work, and come back stronger and better. So
I agree.
I loved Brittany. She's great.
She's great. She's a sweetheart. Do we think it was worth a shot of the Pumptini, or do we think this relationship needed to happen so that, let's say, Brittany could get to the place she's at today?
I think the relationship needed to happen. I think that they did I will say they did have good chemistry.
Yes,
I think they were really fun and cute together. But all in all, dogs will be dogs.
That's
and Jax is a dog.
That's right.
So,
well, that was a fun game. Thanks for playing with me, Nikki.
Yes.
Hope everyone enjoyed it at home. Before we wrap up, let's get into a little bit more pop culture news. And again, we're talking all things Vanderpump today. So I think the biggest headline to hit the news this week was our dear beloved Vanderpump Rules is getting rebooted. Season 12 is coming back with a whole new cast of Sir waitstaff. So everyone from past seasons, Sheena Shea, Lala Kent, the Toms, Ariana, Katie, everybody, unfortunately, seems like they will not be coming back. James Kennedy.
If you know me, you know I love James Kennedy.
We saw James Kennedy.
Heart. We saw
over
James
the summer.
Kennedy. Yes, we saw him in Vegas. That was such a fun time. Love him. I think he has such good energy.
Great DJ, knows how to get a party started. It's really sad. The cast has been putting out posts all week about this change and the news and what they're feeling and what the show has meant to them these last few years. And I think a lot of fans can relate and feel the same way, that this has been, if you've been a fan of this show for a long time, it's like anything, any show, you get to know these people, you get to know their lives, their stories. And it's sad to see them going a new way.
About James. I think James needs his own show. He is the number one guy of the group.
He is the number one guy of the group. I agree with you. You never know. There could be more spinoffs. The Valley is a spinoff of Vanderpump Rules. So maybe we will get some other spinoffs from folks like James it seems like Sheena and Lala and possibly one of the Toms, I don't know which one, could be making their way onto the Valley for a few episodes in the next season. So I don't think it's the last we're going to see of them. But I am really interested to see what this new cast looks like. And I'm interested to see what the format of the show will be. Is it going to be just kind of the same thing, just with a new look to it, where we have these young, talented, wannabe stars that are coming to SUR to just work and make some money before they make it into the industry? Or will it be something different? Will Lisa still be an active part of the show? Because I feel like she has fallen off a little bit the last few seasons.
Yeah.
She's been in like maybe a couple episodes here and there, but she's definitely lost that kind of motherly role to the cast over the last few seasons.
She's probably disgusted. I'd be disgusted.
I wouldn't blame her.
I'd be done with all of them.
Absolutely.
So maybe this is why they're getting the axe. And honestly, they're all getting older. How much of the same can we, hear about them?
Yeah. I agree. I think the show has lost it's lost the original plot from what it was supposed to be. Granted, did we ever expect these people to be working at SUR for 10 plus years and never get anywhere? Given that the show has gotten so big, no, I don't think so. So it does make sense that they want a new batch of folks to see if maybe they can evolve in the same way, or if something totally different happens, new drama, new relationships, new stories. We'll see what we get. But yeah, I think I wouldn't be surprised either if Lisa just kind of was done with this cast and was like, I have nothing.
I was done with them. I was done with Katie. Kristen, thank God she's been out.
Right.
But I just don't want to hear about Katie's sandwich shop anymore.
Not the sandwich shop. Something about her. I feel like it's just, I'm sorry to say, but these people, Lisa Vanderpump has been in the restaurant business for most of her adult life. Plus, she's got her husband who I think helps her fund a lot of these restaurants, helps her run the business.
I want to come back as Lisa.
I do too. She's got the life. If I see one more dog in her house that I want.
Her house is gorgeous.
Oh my God.
She's gorgeous.
Amazing. What a life. But I think the cast a lot of them have said, if Lisa can do it, we can do it too. It's a totally different world from when she started.
Yes.
Maybe, 40 years ago, you could start a restaurant and over time it would build up and it would be something amazing. But now the money and the time you have to put into something like that in order to see it grow, you're lucky if you make it in 10 years with a place like that. Speaking of Schwartz and Sandy's, they just announced that they're closing. Tom Sandoval and Tom Schwartz restaurant that they independently went in on their own with another investor. And And again, it goes to show that it's really hard to make it in that biz. But these are two guys who are just so cocky and so like think that they are God's greatest gift on earth, that they thought they could make it. They thought they didn't need Lisa's help. They thought they didn't need their significant other's help in doing this.
Right. And they did receive a lot of backlash after the scandal. Like, I think Yelp had to like stop the bad reviews from coming in because fans were just writing terrible reviews. So that was unfortunate. It was unfortunate for the investor as well, the third party in there.
Sure. It's unfortunate for the staff that they had. Everyone's losing their jobs.
Yes.
I think they said they're wrapping up the end of this year, maybe, or maybe a couple weeks. I'm not sure what the exact timing is, but come 2025, I think it's going to be gone. And unfortunately, a lot of people are going to be out of jobs that, knowing these two, they probably promised people the world with this restaurant.
Right. So now something about her is Ariana and Katie.
Yep. Their sandwich shop that they started.
So I felt like they wanted to prove something to the Toms. Like, again, same thing. You guys can do it. We can do it. And Katie wanted so bad to be involved in her boyfriend, husband's business.
Right.
That she wanted to start something on her own and prove it. Is it still open? Did it ever open?
It did open. It opened back at some point in the summer.
James Kennedy was actually wearing something about her shirt when we saw him DJing.
He was. I do remember that. It's been open for a few months now.
Okay.
Of course, when it opened, line out the door around the block. People were so excited to get in there, try out the sandwiches, possibly see if Ariana and Katie were there. There were influencers going, a lot of other reality TV stars going. And so it definitely had its 15 minutes of fame, in a sense, but I don't know how it's doing now. I think it's still up and running.
I feel like it's supposed to be like tea and little sandwiches. What was the idea? Because when I think of a sandwich that I want like your classic Italian prosciutto, mozzarella, balsamic vinegar.
Right.
That's my sandwich on a hero.
Well, I think a sandwich shop in LA is also hard because everyone out there is so health conscious.
Skinny.
Yeah. But that's because they're so health conscious and so like, we have to eat organic, we have to eat gluten-free, we have to eat dairy-free. I can't necessarily see a lot of people in LA going into a sandwich shop like this. It seems like it is a balance of maybe not healthy, but better for you ingredients and your classic sandwiches like a tuna salad or like a mozzarella and tomato type salad.
But then also I think that this is kind of like an attraction for the fans, that it's a one-time thing. You show up, you get your sandwich, and you never see the place again.
Exactly.
Same with Schwartz and Sandy's. It's not going to be a staple that you need to go to whenever you want to go to dinner with your girls. Same thing with the garden, Vanderpump Garden that we went to. Did it once, we'll never go back.
Right. It's true.
We took our pictures, we got the experience. It's not something that I would be going back to.
It's a novelty for sure.
So if you think about how many fans you're going to run out that they're just going there one time for the experience, you take your pictures and you move on.
Yeah.
I'm wondering if it could have been like some pop-up, like a pop-up somewhere that they could have, I mean, I don't know if they could profit off of, they probably wouldn't profit much, but I mean, pop-ups are huge. Maybe they could have done some.
I think they could have done a food truck and called it a day.
Something.
Make a cute little food truck with the same decor you have going on in the restaurant. Bring it to festivals. Bring it to fairs. Bring it to the farmer's market. Like, you could park that shit where, get your permits, park it where you need to. You could sell sandwiches out of that easily. Especially if it's Ariana and Katie manning the truck most of the time. People would line up to go see this truck and get some food from them and say hello.
And you're not just in that same location. So you can make your way around.
Right. You're not limited to a certain amount of space too, because it does look like a very small restaurant. Not a lot of seating. So I can't imagine their capacity can't be huge. So that's another thing, is when you don't have a lot of space for people to sit, people aren't necessarily going to want to go to your restaurant if they're afraid they're not going to have a table to sit at and they're going to have to take their food to go. It's giving like small cafe vibes for sure, but I think they would have been better off with a food truck. Speaking of Bravo, for those who watch Summer House, Carl Radke has been trying to launch his own non-alcoholic bar, but he's doing it as kind of a like mocktail drink truck right now. So looks like he's going to different events. It looks like I think it's going to be on this season of Summer House, because towards the end of the summer, I remember seeing some kind of like launch that he had at their usual Hamptons house. Again, don't know what the status is of it. Don't know how well this truck is doing, but if it's something mobile that he can bring wherever he's got to go, and have his staff make a mocktail for someone, give them a mushroom coffee, give them, a natural energy drink, whatever it is they're ordering. And there's a lot less risk in something like that than doing brick and mortar, like Something About Her.
Right.
So
we'll see. We'll see how long it lasts.
Yeah. I mean,
good for them for starting.
Absolutely. You have to try.
Right.
I always say, if you don't try, you'll never know. And you're always going to wonder what if. So try it out, see how it goes. I think if it does work out, that's great. If for some reason a year or two from now we're hearing about it closing, maybe it's just for the best. But time will tell. We'll see about that. Last up in Vanderpump news, Kristen Doty is pregnant. She is pregnant with her, I want to say, long-ish term boyfriend. They've been together a few years, Luke. And exciting because I know she had a miscarriage a few years ago. I know she's really wanted to be a mom for a long time. So she has finally gotten her wish. She has a baby on the way. We hope for nothing but health and happiness for the couple. Again, something we'll probably be seeing more of on the Valley in maybe the next season or two. I'm sure that's going to be a big plot of the show. Because as much of the Kristen drama we love, can't get enough of it. Sometimes we just need this bitch to calm the fuck down. So maybe this will do the trick. So congratulations to Kristen.
Yes.
So that is our Vanderpump recap for the week. Again, really excited to see what happens with the show now. Really excited to see what the new cast is like, what stories we get from them. And, who knows, maybe the next generation of James Kennedy will be in this new class of Vanderpump Rules servers. But that is our show for the week. Thank you all again for listening in. If you're watching us on YouTube, please give us a like, comment, and subscribe. If you're watching us or listening to us on Spotify or Apple, please give us some stars, leave us a nice review, tell us how much you're loving the show, and be sure to follow us on Instagram and TikTok. We are at the Sip and Spill Pod. That is the Sip and like Nikki Spill Pod. So be sure to follow us along as we're continuing to podcast and chat with you guys every week, and make sure to make our Pumptini this week. Cheers to that, Nikki.
Cheers.